Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 31-year-old from Colorado Springs, USA. His hockey journey has taken him to the USA, Austria, Slovakia, and he has quickly become a legend in Sheffield, England. He earned his way to Northeastern University out of the USHL and the Lincoln Stars. And when he got to the Huskies, he had a time becoming a Hockey East champion and was named to the all-tournament team. Confirmed gamer. He mucked around the coast in the A, and his teams for 4 consecutive years played at least 10 playoff games. After putting up 22 points with the Idaho Steelheads, he headed for Innsbruck, Austria, and was promptly named one of the team captains. He then had his way with the Slovak League and played another 13 playoff games. But he may be best known for what he is doing nowadays in Sheffield, England. He already has put up 20 points as a D-man and for fun is a plus 16 and has the Orange on the cusp of doing some special shit this season. And he has the best name and beard in hockey. Welcome to the shed, Colton Saucerman.
So, brother, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. And well, I get into how we know each other. And your teammate, Kevin Tansey, I really took a shine to him. I think he gets hockey and he knows what it's all about. And I say shed guys know shed guys. And I've seen you and him having fun this season. You dress up in costumes and go to games, and I just think that's hockey.
Yeah, man. We every time we get together, since we
It's
finally
fun.
got the chance to meet and play together, we've just got a good energy between the two of us, and obviously Champini being here too. It's just we're having a great time so far this season.
I can tell. Winning's fun, isn't it?
Winning is fun.
What it brings back for me though is, none of you guys are young puppies anymore, but when you get to the UK League at the tail ends of your career, not that I'm saying you are, because you could play there for a decade, but when I got to Cardiff, and I had, had my ups and downs in my career, you could say, they signed myself and Trevor Hendricks, also great beard, and we hadn't played together since we were rookies on the Daytona Beach Bombers. And when we got together at that time in our lives, we decided we were going to hockey the shit out of that season, and we had so much fun.
Yeah. No, I mean, you're definitely not wrong. Like, I think all of us are kind of at the back nine of our careers. And yeah, I've just always, I
That's when you
remember
got to
coming
enjoy the
over.
sport, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, and I think you just like you want to hang on to it as long as you can and just like, but I think I really got an interest in this league when my senior year of college, like we came over and played in that Friendship Four tournament in Belfast,
Yeah.
and just like seeing their arena playing in that tournament. And then I think my assistant coach at the time too, he had played for the Giants and he said he loved it. And he was like, oh, the UK is just a great time. Like, so I think
It's
since then it had kind of been on my mind to like come here eventually.
Yep.
Um,
And then
and
eventually that
Foxy,
day comes, right? It came for
yeah,
me
no,
too.
exactly. Yeah, I think it was just perfect timing. And, you always want a chance to play with guys that you really get along with and have good friendships with. And so it was kind of a no brainer to make this season the season to come over.
Yeah, and you guys are doing well. And you know what you're saying there, the first time you see the league and what the culture's like. And I was playing in Germany and we came over to play Sheffield. And we played 2 games for the weekend, but then both teams went out on the town after the Saturday game, and it was just more relaxed. It was more fun than where I had been playing in Europe. And
Yeah,
when I got to Cardiff, man, it brought back all my love of hockey again, you know?
yeah, no, definitely. And it's stuff like I kind of when I made the jump to Europe originally, like it was just kind of a weird time to do it with the tail end of COVID and stuff really wasn't open back up yet. And then I didn't mind Slovakia. It just that was a big culture shock. It just was very different than anything I'd ever experienced before. And so it was nice to come back overseas, but be in a spot where you can go to the grocery store and read everything, and
Yeah.
you're not trying to have to translate with the people at the post office, and just little things that you take for granted. And it's hard. And obviously I tried to accept being in their culture and try to pick up the language, but it's hard, man. It's really hard. So I think we were just looking for an easier uh, situation over here in England.
And Sheffield is a great spot. I hate saying that out loud, but I do know they treat their players right. They do have a huge fan base, and it like, and you guys are having a special year. So it is interesting for me because I'm a Cardiff Devil,
Yeah.
and now I get chocolate thrown on the ice in Manchester. So I'm pretty confused these days. But then I see what your team's doing, and like honestly, when I see pictures of Shed guys and I see people having fun with the game, and you guys showing up to the game dressed in outfits, it brought back memories of me and Hendo that like we had the skin tight suits. One I was Venom and he was Spider-Man. And like
Nice.
we walked around Cardiff Bay with my kids and people were taking photos with us. My son was dressed as Hulk and we were like superheroes walking around the bay. And then I see you guys doing similar stuff in Sheffield, man. And hockey guys are hockey guys.
Yeah. No, we just like we like to have fun with it, and we had worn those outfits. We went to visit a children's hospital a couple days before that, and
That's
I was
hockey.
just like, it makes sense to wear it on the Boxing Day game, and
It does
we
make
had
sense.
heard, yeah, no, we had heard that that crowd was going to be fantastic, and obviously it was a big game in the sense of that was it was the first time we were going to play Nottingham again, and so I think it was like more to just like maybe take some tension away from it too,
Yep.
and just
Yep.
like
Yep.
I don't know. It seemed like
Try and get some
it all fit.
smiles on people's faces again. And
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and the other thing I would say is when you do stuff like that, when you show up to a game in a costume, you got to go out and win that game, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I had to make sure Foxy was okay that I bend the dress code for one game.
Well, he seems like he gets hockey. He's put together quite the roster.
Yeah, no, he is. He's, I really enjoy playing for him. He's such a good balance of a player's coach, and he can relate to us, and he understands like the grind. And obviously, he was a tremendous player himself, but he's just got that little bit of like scare factor to him,
He's
where it's
got an
like,
edge.
yeah, he does, and it's you don't want to like disappoint him or let him down. So it's like we play extra hard and we get a leash, from him, but it's like we never abuse it because we
Yeah.
know that it's like you come down with the thunder. So
Well,
it's been a joy playing for him.
it sounds like he has everybody's respect.
Yeah, definitely. No, for sure. Because I think he understands what we are as a team, and he
And
obviously
his
did a great
people,
job.
right?
Yeah, for sure. No, and that that's the biggest thing is he brought in good guys, man. And I know everybody kind of says that after every season or during the season, like, oh man, we got such a good group of guys. But I mean, we
It,
really do, and it's a little bit older group, so it's like we've all kind of done our
yeah.
thing, and like not many of us are like still chasing it in that way, like the NHL dream is kind of in the rear view for us, and so we're just like we want to win, we want
And
to win and like
yeah.
have fun doing it, and
Yeah.
we've all bought into to what he's trying to do, and right now it's working. So
Yeah, and I always say the closest teams win, but also the teams that don't care about who's getting the goals and assists and who's getting the extra minutes and people buying into being a penalty killer or a power play guy or whatever they are using you, that you do it with a smile on your face and you do the best you can when you get out there. It's like with the guys that are, like you say, still chasing it, they can, when they don't get the ice time and they get all sour and they get all whiny little bitches, it brings a team mood down, right? Because then the guys that are running mucks, they see that on their team, right? And it's not, you can't
yeah,
win with that shit, but usually it was the guys that are still chasing it, trying to get to that next level, trying to get to that bigger deal, right?
yeah, no, and it's only like human nature, right? Like I was in that same position too. You go through that stage where, man, I just want a chance. I'm chasing it. I'm hungry, and it's nice being on a team this year where like that pressure to score every single game or the pressure to produce every game, like we don't feel that pressure because there's so many guys that
Guys,
can do that,
yeah.
like, and we're not one dimensional. We don't have one line that scores more than the other or plays more than the other. Like Yeah, we have a power play. We have 2 units, but like any of our guys could play,
on the power play.
that on, yeah, on that situation. And it's like nobody feels that pressure of like, oh man, I have to be the guy, like, because we just do it as a group collectively. And so
That,
it's nice. Like
that's
if you don't
heartwarming
score,
shit for me, bud.
yeah, like it's very rare. Like I haven't been on a team in my career where it's been like that, where, I haven't felt the pressure of like being a power play guy.
Oh,
Like, oh man, you know, uh, the,
especially as an import, right? You go to Europe
oh, for
and they,
sure.
they
Yeah.
look they look at the point so much.
Yeah.
It's like when I was in Germany, man, like when I was on a squad where everybody could do her and we had 4 lines, we won championships. And then they cut the budget. We have nothing compared to what we used to have, and we hardly have 3 lines, and the ones that are in the third line can't play. And there was so much pressure on me to score like more than the other team every game, and it was like me and the other import on one line. It's like, well, we have to score 3 or 4 goals or we can't win.
Yeah, for sure. And no, and it just doesn't make it as fun, like
No,
you're getting points and whatever, but it's like you ask any hockey player, they would trade their points away for winning championships. So, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're
that's you guys
trying to
are
win all three.
yeah, and you want to win everything, and you guys have a gosh darn good shot. So I do have to get into this, okay? I don't know
All
if
right, man.
you aware of this, but there was a day once at the Sheffield Arena. We had Kit Kat Get That with Evan Mosey when he was a Steeler, and
All right.
the Steelers supported it. They sent it out. There's Kit Kats all over the ice when they won in overtime. Kit Kats everywhere. It was banana lands. So they the arena said we were never allowed to do that again. Sheffield let me know we couldn't do that. So I'm not doing that. But the Challenge Cup final is ran by the league, not the Steelers. So if I don't hear anything, I would like to have fun and make a Challenge Cup final really fun. That when you guys win, um, Pansy's favorite chocolate bar is a Toblerone, and Champini's or Champ is a Cadbury Dairy Milk. So, folks, if you're a big Kevin Tansey fan and they win the championship and you want to give them a Toblerone, just be very careful. You can't be throwing that from the top ropes because there's kids and whatnot, and that's what went wrong with Kit Kat. Get that? People were getting pelted with Kit Kats. We can't have that. So we got to get down to the glass. Nice, gentle lob over the glass for Tansey. And the Cadberries, you can chuck those ones. They're pretty small. But what is your favorite chocolate bar?
Man. I'm a big like dark chocolate guy, but they have there's this Ferrero Rocher
Oh yeah,
dark chocolate bar that's like kind of one lady.
hazelnuts are great.
Yeah, yeah, she gets me this bar pretty consistently after most of our home games. But yeah, any dark chocolate, honestly, I'm a sucker for the dark chocolate.
Okay, dark chocolate, folks, Ferrero Rochers. I'd be curious what would happen when they get chucked on the ice if they really disintegrate or not.
Yeah, they might.
But folks, that would only be for the Challenge Cup final. It's not ran by Sheffield. They didn't support me. I went off on my own. What are you going to do? Ban me from the arena? I live in Canada. So if you do have a problem, Sheffield, just let me know and I'll stop. I'll try to stop having fun. Other ways we know each other. You are also a member of Moonrise Sports that I just joined.
Yeah, yep,
I saw you on there.
yeah.
It's like a catalog of shed guys on there. Tansey's on there, Matt Carruth's on there,
I
and
know. Yeah,
Stefan Fournier. Yeah, you can talk
I
to any
know.
of us,
Florence.
folks. Just let us know,
I know.
right?
Yeah, seriously. No, I just kind of got signed up with it, and it seems like a really interesting platform, and
It
I
does.
think especially with the fan base here in Sheffield and some of the other places I've played, like it might be a good tool to use. And I think it's cool that we're in this like day and age where, as a younger hockey player, you could possibly reach out to people, maybe people that you idolize or guys playing in your hometown where you're growing up. Like it would have been cool to have those
Right.
things like when when we were growing up playing, like just to pick the brain of a guy that you go watch on a daily basis, and somebody maybe who's a little bit more, I don't know, closer and like in touch than NHLers are just in such a league of their own, right? But it's
I
like
agree.
I feel like we have so much hockey advice to give, and just because we never made it to the best league in the world, I think that the opinion and the viewpoint, it's just trying to get as much knowledge as you can. So I think it's a really cool idea, and I think
I
I'm going to try
agree.
to utilize it.
I agree too. And for me, I want to raise my family and give them roots in a small town. In this town, I love it here. But I do love coaching, and I love coaching minor hockey. That's a volunteer position, but like it gives me everything I need. I have a team that tries to win championships. But like I love coaching and helping people. And if anybody did want my coaching advice and sent me something and wanted me to review it, it would mean the world to me because
Yeah.
you're right. We didn't make the NHL. And when I first came home, I felt like a failure. I felt like my career was a failure. Um, I had a very hard time. I left all my hockey shit in boxes for years. I was fat, depressed, and it was getting called back to Cardiff for my night there. But then talking to all these shed guys, it made me realize maybe I'm not a failure. Maybe I did do some cool shit. I just didn't make the money I wanted to. My family wasn't financially secure when I moved back, and it made me feel like a failure. But I don't think any of us are failures. And I think we have just as smart a hockey brains as the NHL guys. We just maybe don't have the same physiques and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I couldn't agree more with that, and that's I think and sometimes I'd say that some of us are even more experienced than those guys because of what we've had to go through
There's a lot of
of
ups and downs in our jerseys.
yeah, for sure. No, and it's the just the job security at times wasn't great for us, and like always never knowing, that's a
Yeah,
luxury that we never got to experience, and I think it's made us harder and stronger because of those experiences, and
I totally agree
so
with you, man. You really hit home on me.
yeah, no, brother, sorry, it took a turn there, but got emotional, but
Well,
I
no,
just
but
think it's
so
a
did
great,
I. Because like,
yeah,
if you look behind me now, I have all my jerseys out. I have
I know,
some awards out, but then it's all those guys on my back wall that made the time for me, that work around my busy schedule, that come and talk to me for free voluntarily because we're buddies and because shed guys know shed guys. And all those, all of you guys have brought back my love of the game. And now
yeah,
I'm proud of what I did instead of feeling like a failure, you know?
absolutely, brother. It was all about the journey.
So, anyways, folks, if anybody wants coaching advice from us, smart guys, you can go to Moonrise Sports and check us out in ice hockey. And there's other shed guys, and I'm sure each of us would have different things that you could pick up from if you want to. We're here to help if you want, right?
Yep.
Okay. Anyways, you did go to Slovakia. Small world stuff here. Kosice. Halfway through the year, they brought in Dan Seaman as the coach.
Hmm.
I won that gold helmet with him right there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in Denmark.
In
How did it
Denmark?
go with
Okay.
him? Did you like
Yeah, he was.
Kosice?
Yeah, I did. Like I said, it was a bit of a culture shock, and my wife ended up having some issues getting her visa, and it was kind of the start of the Ukraine Russia stuff, so it was a little dicey
Right.
there, right on the border. Um, and our we started the year with a Finnish coach who I just didn't click with that style as
Yeah.
much, and when Dan came in, like, he's very smart hockey guy, like very good X's and O's, and um, I enjoyed playing for him for the last month for the regular season, and then for the playoff run there, and we came close to knocking off Bratislava in the semifinals, and I just didn't think it was signing back there was
The
for
right
me.
fit. Yeah.
I had tried it and I had done it, and um, like I said, the town itself was not bad. I think just the hockey expectations of the Slovaks are extremely high, and then like I said, we struggled to start the year, so it was like just a lot of pressure,
Mhm.
and
Pressure
yeah, I just wasn't.
sucks when
Yeah,
it's
I
like
wasn't
that.
interested in really going back, and but yeah, I like Dan, and
So
he
my story with Dan though is like I think he's a great guy, and he did try to help me out after he didn't ask me back. But for me, I had I had some sour thoughts originally. That we won go a championship together. I was second in the league in scoring, and then I go in for my exit meeting, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna go a different direction next year." I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what the hell is that supposed to do? But
Yeah, for sure.
we hashed it all out in the shed. I feel much better now.
No, yeah, we ended on good terms too. And like I said, I would talk to him again, call him if I needed, if he
Yeah,
needed something. And I
he's
think
a
it's just all about keeping the connections, and
hockey connections are huge, man, especially
yeah,
when you're in need of new work. And that was my thing was when I was done in Germany, I did not have the connections. I only had my little German pocket and then
yeah.
I didn't know enough people to really do stuff. But yeah, anywho. Um, okay, so yeah, moving on. You went to Northeastern University. So fun fact, I was recruited by them and I got offered by them and I turned them down.
No way.
Yeah, way back when.
Where'd you
Way
end up going?
Western Michigan.
Western Mich. Okay.
Yeah, so Northeastern wanted me as a true freshman. I didn't feel ready, and
Yeah.
I'm a small town boy from the country. And then I went to Boston, and when I get off the plane and how everybody was driving through that tunnel, it was like Mario Kart, man. It was nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just a
Yeah.
bit much for me, so I ended up choosing the Broncos, But so you
Nice.
did go to Northeastern. What a barn they have, eh?
Yeah, it was cool, man. They were my second commitment. I committed to UMass Lowell when I was 17, coming out of like the development camps and stuff. And I think it was just not that Lowell's not a great school. They've had some serious success and stuff, but I think it was more like then they were kind of still building the program up, and it was Hockey East, but they were definitely at that time that I committed, they were kind of on the lower tier of Hockey East. And
Yeah.
so, but I just was like focused on like that was my goal, was like I just wanted to play college hockey. And I was like, I got to try to help my folks out with getting as much of a scholarship as I can. And so when the coaching change happened and Blaze McDonald wasn't there anymore, just decided to decommit because that was always just I wanted to play for a coach who recruited me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I finished that season in Lincoln. I went back for my 20-year-old year in Lincoln, and yeah, I got recruited November ish, and just hockey school was wanted to go, and then found out that they were a Beanpot team.
Yeah.
That was the selling factor for sure, and
So the bean
I
pot
enjoyed
was a
it.
big deal, eh? Because like, so for me, I didn't know anything about their tradition. I didn't know anything. I didn't know a lot about NCAA hockey when I started getting recruited, and they brought me down to Northeastern and explained that bean pot, and they took me to the Bruins arena and was like, "You will play here, and it will be sold out." And I remember it because I got to go in the Bruins room. There was the injured guys were skating. I got to meet them. But then they take you to Fenway and then they have a sweet barn where they normally play. Like it was a great setup. I just couldn't handle that big city, I was too much of a small
Yeah,
town boy. And then the other thing was I think their school's really expensive, right? Because they told me way back then they only had one player on a full ride. Everybody else wasn't a full ride. And obviously that was the biggest reason why I'm going to go to Western Michigan over Northeastern was theirs was a full ride.
yeah, definitely. No, it is an expensive school for sure, and yeah, there was there's just a lot of draw to the city, and it was just a different like environment than a lot of guys get on a college. When they play college hockey, when you're not on like a college campus. I mean, we just had Boston as like our campus. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
everything was accessible with the trains and walking around, and I just really enjoyed it. I was an older freshman too, so it wasn't like the bars were available to me. I think that's a different, sometimes guys who it's something to consider if you're 18 and a true freshman and you're going to a school where it's primarily like it's not a college campus. It's like you need to be going to the bars, like restaurants, things like that. Like if you're not 21, that's hard to like
To do anything.
feel involved. Yeah, like it's just a
Yeah.
different feel, but it had a lot of good things and to offer, and I enjoyed my time there. It was good, man, and yeah, we ended it off on a good. Never won a bean pot, but got to play in a couple of finals, and there's nothing like that tournament in my opinion. I think.
So for the
Um,
folks that don't know, we probably should explain this because it's probably going to be mainly UK folks listening to this. Is the
okay,
Bean Pod is the four Boston universities, right? Boston College, Boston University, Northeastern, and someone else.
Harvard.
Harvard. And it's a one
Yep.
weekend. You play the semifinal and then there's a final and it's in the Bruins arena and she's packed, right?
Yeah, it's a 2 week it's a 2 week tournament. So you play on the first Monday of February. So today actually is the first Beanpot game tonight. You play Monday and then you play the following Monday, and it's just one, Harvard versus Northeastern, BU versus BC, and then the winners play. And but it's the 17, however many that rink holds. I think it's just under 18,000, but it's like students and like
Having
the
fun.
bands, and yeah, like it's wild. It's playing in the Hockey East Championship game wasn't even close to like playing in Beanpot Finals. It just means so much to the city of Boston because it's like the
Yeah.
history behind that tournament. Um,
And that's part of what I like. I could tell the passion they had for that tournament because that was one of their big selling features to try and recruit you, right?
yeah,
The other
yeah,
part that really got me though is when I went to Western Michigan. I broke my thumb and I got to go to both schools to check them out. But I went into the Western Michigan room and they were playing that night and they had everybody's jerseys up and everything. And then they had made a stall for me, right, with Walton 10, and like you could picture it then. And I was like, oh, I'm
yeah,
sold.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. No, I had a lot of guys go to Western Michigan that are buddies, and they liked it, so
Shed guys know shed guys.
they do.
Broncos are a special breed.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did we have fun at that school. We just didn't win many hockey games, but they do now.
Yeah, they do. They do now.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Other small town stuff was my only year in the East Coast Hockey League. I played for the Daytona Beach Bombers of Ohio. Then they are now tits up. It wasn't long after since we couldn't get any sticks when we were in the finals, but we were in the finals against the Idaho Steelheads, who did beat us and won that year. But Idaho, when I got to go there, and I'd been living in Dayton, Ohio all year, and then I got to go see how people actually get to live in the East Coast Hockey League. I couldn't believe how nice that city is.
Oh, it's great, man. Yeah, it was probably one of my favorite cities to play in the coast for sure. Like
You
that
played in
it's
some good
just
ones, eh?
I did honestly, yeah, I've been very fortunate. I honestly I think through my whole career, like the coast stops that I had, I wasn't in a bad spot. Which is it's lucky. But
It
yeah,
is. You
that
should see Dayton, Ohio.
Idaho, yeah, yeah, no, for sure. But Boise's special, another college town that like other than Boise State football, like the Steelheads are it. And so as soon as football season ends, early January, we would sell out for the remainder of the season and playoffs, and it's just a good mix of
And it's a nice
very
little barn right in the middle of town,
oh
right?
yeah, like, and especially like for road teams coming in there, like it's so convenient. Like there's tons of food and bars, and like your hotel is on top of the rink, so it's like all the things that make like the coast a grind. It kind of feels more like American League,
I agree.
National League level when you
You
go
you
play
feel
there.
like more of a professional than when you are playing
For
them
sure, yeah.
and you can't even get sticks and you're in the
Yeah,
finals of the East Coast.
yeah. When you're in Wichita, like staying at a Hampton Inn, and you got to drive 30 minutes to the rink, like for a morning skate, and then
Yeah.
yeah, there's no food but the gas station, the Quick Trip. Um,
Yes,
so
I understand. Yeah, Dayton,
yeah.
Ohio. We lived about 30 minutes from the Nutter Center, folks. What a name of
Oh
a
no.
bar, the Nutter Center. And we would have to drive 30 minutes across town, and then we'd get back to our apartments in like the low income housing of Dayton, Ohio, man. And there were some funky individuals living around there.
Yeah, for sure.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
no, the first year that I went to Idaho, they had the original apartments, like since they had when they came into the league, that we were still using like the older apartments. But then when I signed back there, they actually ended up putting us in Eagle, which is like 20 minutes outside of like downtown Boise, but like brand new apartments. And their setup now for their housing is unbelievable.
Well, and they're a good team almost every year. And when you treat people right and you give them what they need, and happy hockey players play better, um,
Yeah, for sure.
it's like, man, when I went to Boise there and the sun shone every day, there was mountains around, and then everybody was bicycling around, stopping at patios and drinking beers. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this place?
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's so happy.
Yeah. It's such a like an eclectic downtown and just so many different types of food and bars and pubs and yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
blast.
jeepers.
Yeah,
Um,
no.
so other places though that I've been to that come up with the research team is you're born in Colorado Springs. And when we're talking about fantastic cities, I went and played Colorado College and I couldn't believe that city either.
Yeah, man, it's a
Is
cool
that
little
that where you
downtown
grew up?
and yeah, yeah, grew up 10 minutes from their campus. So always wanted
Jeepers.
to go there, just never got recruited there for some reason. I don't know why. But
I couldn't have played there, man. The altitude wasn't for me.
yeah, no, that is a real thing for sure.
Oh God, I was sucking wind.
Yeah, but no, it's yeah, it was great growing up there. I think like the the hockey market in Colorado has just continued to get better. Like we originally it was one AAA team, and I think now we got three in the state. So like it's definitely growing and getting bigger, and
That's great.
had some successful guys prior to myself, and then even coming after me, like that have really kind of helped put it on the map. And I think
And it gives
obviously
the kids
getting
coming up in that town though something to aspire to, right? It's like when you see
yeah,
someone from your town do it, then you can believe a little bit more can be done, right?
yeah, no, absolutely.
But that, speaking of great cities, man, I go there and I'm, from Elmira, Ontario. Haven't seen many mountains in my life when I go to Western Michigan. We fly over to Colorado College and you got a sweet barn, you got restaurants, and then you got beautiful mountains and the sun shines every day.
Yeah, I know.
What a
Yeah,
joke.
it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect weather too, because it's like you don't get the wind. It can be, it can be snow on the ground, and it can be cold, but the sun will still be out. So it's like you still feel like going outside and doing stuff. Like
Yeah.
and so yeah, it's I was definitely spoiled growing up there. It was I enjoy it, and I think at some point I think my wife and I will get back to Colorado, and we might make our
Set up
roots there
shop.
for sure. Yeah,
I haven't seen many better places to do that. That's one of those places when you go there and you're like, so why does anybody live anywhere else?
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, winter there around here when it's winter, you don't always want to go outside.
Yeah,
So
for
I know
sure.
what you mean by that.
Yeah,
So where you started your pro career, I'm just gonna bounce around here because it's way more fun.
yep.
South Carolina Stingrays. I did go for a road trip there with the Daytona Beach Bombers, and that is a sweet barn. That is a sweet setup, and what a town. You played in some great places, man.
Oh, it was cool. We had just lost North Dakota in the first round of the NCAA, and I was just I just wanted to keep playing, and so they were like the first team that reached out to me, and I was like, I just want to keep playing and get this thing started. And I
Yeah,
think by the time you're a senior too, you're like
you're
you're
itching
really
to make
done
some.
with school.
You want to make
Yeah,
some
and you're
money,
like
right?
yeah, you want to make some money for sure, but it's like you just want to like be done with school.
Yes.
So I think that was my thing. I didn't have really any exams. I just had some papers, and I was like, I can finish that, no problem. I just want to get out of here and like go play. And but yeah, when I got down there, like that setup is fantastic. The city is just absolutely beautiful, and they really took care of the players, and that we were in great apartments, and I think we played golf at like four maybe five courses. Like they'd give us a 9 hole tee time for free any time of the week. Like
That's living.
it was just yeah, it was just I mean, you go to practice, go play 9 holes or 18 if you wanted to play, pay for the extra nine. Like
And it's winter and you're walking around flip flops,
go
probably.
yeah, go sit on the beach after, go grab nice meal.
Shut up.
Like
You shut your mouth
yeah,
when you're talking to me.
it was
And that
tough.
was another one of those road trips, man, when like you're
Yeah,
in that North Division and it's a grind, man. It is
yeah,
a
it is.
grind. And then
Yeah,
you go play the Florida Everblades in the semifinals and you're like, you guys got to do this all year?
yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you guys did though, right out of your senior year, you went on a bit of a playoff run with South Carolina. Your pro career started out pretty hot. You had a point a game to end the regular season, and then you play like 15 playoff games.
Yeah, I didn't really expect. They had told me when I came down, like we don't know if we're gonna hang on to you or not yet. And then they ended up kind of having an injury towards the end of the regular season there, and so they kept me on. And then I sat the first 3 games we opened against Kalamazoo, funny enough. But
That's a small world.
so yeah, we opened the first 3 games, got up to a 3-0 lead on them, and then so they threw me in for game 4, and then I just never left the lineup after that. Like,
And then you guys came
and so
back
I
on
was,
them.
yeah, no, it was a great like playoff run, and man, we went to game 7 against Wheeling. Definitely could have been. And I've actually my first 2 years, both years, we were like game 7. I was a game away from the finals. So
Well, I don't like saying nice things to people in my shed, okay? So cover your ears. But when when the research team gets hot, I look at championships and I look at playoff games because I think the way you bring a team together throughout a regular season and how everybody is off the ice at the rink, it's you got to bring teams together. And when I see you're at the start of your pro career that every season you're playing at least 10 playoff games, shows me that you know how to bring teams together. And you hang out with the right people with like Tansey and Champini, and like now you see it happening in Sheffield, and it's like, well, that's because they have good people that know what hockey's about and know how to win. And all those playoff games show me that you're the type of guy you want on a team. Okay. Last nice thing
yeah,
I'm saying to you.
thank you. No, I think everybody just looks forward to those times, and it's hard to like those seasons are a grind in the Coast and the American League for sure. And I think I just
They are in Dayton, Ohio, maybe not where you're living.
yeah, that's true. That's true, buddy. I'm sorry. I won't.
I'm
I
just
won't
kidding.
talk about the grind.
It's a grind. There's
It
a
is.
lot
It
of bus
is.
trips.
It is. Yeah. But it's you just look forward to those like those games, and I think it's just trying to stay in that mindset of like that's the hockey that we really want to play.
That's
You
what it's
know, like
about. Oh
it's
yeah, I'd
hard to
get
get
so
motivated.
bored in the regular season.
Yeah, it's hard, man, and it's right around this time normally, right? Like it's right
Yep.
after the All-Star game, like January,
Oh dear.
which like it's tough. Like unless you're battling for your life to like get in a spot, like it's hard to stay motivated sometimes for those games. Like 3-3 up in Adirondack, like it's hard to stay motivated for those. But
Oh man.
that's what you're looking forward to is the nice weather and then getting to go down to the nice places and play in the playoffs because that's the best.
Well, yeah, it brings back memories for me was yeah, like the time to be alive, especially like in Ontario or wintry places. When you've done the grind of the hockey season through the winter and you know you got a squad and you get the playoff time and you're showing up to the rink and the sun's back out and it's warm out and then you know it's playoff time, you know?
Yep, yep. No,
hmm I
it's
love
the
playoff
best.
time. That's way more fun than playing the regular season. But where you are playing now, the regular season is the big deal, and
Yeah,
every game is huge, eh?
for sure. That was an interesting like switch, and it was cool like to kind of experience that at a different point in my career where like the the playoff trophy obviously is important, but like that's just like the football over here. Like it's the regular season is what really matters, and so it's taken on a different challenge every single night to be dialed in, and obviously we've taken that approach seriously so far, and I
Well,
think
yeah.
fortunately so far we're taking care of business.
Well, to bring back my experiences, as I went through the same thing. I had never played like that, and I went to Cardiff when I was like 31-ish, maybe. Um, and I remember playing a game in Belfast, and it was like the start of the season, and I didn't block a shot. I went out to my D man. I didn't get the block done. And I came to the bench, and Andrew Lord was our player coach. And he said, you have to block that. This is game 7. These regular season games against these teams are game 7 all season long. You have to block that shot like this is a championship game. And for me, I didn't really I got it once he said that because when I was in the second league in Germany and you got to score a lot of points and you got to stay healthy, in the regular season, there might have been some times I just didn't quite get in front of that shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you do have
Yeah.
to in the UK league in the regular season.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely just like the habits that you have to have for the playoffs. Like you have to have those habits every single game because
Yeah.
it means these points mean so much, and so it's like when you drop a game, it seems like oh man,
You
like it's
you guys haven't dropped many though.
no, not too many. But again, I think that that's just all kind of like the guys that Foxy's brought in, and then his approach to like our systems and how we approach our day to day. Like we're business and we mean business, and I think we've all taken that approach and we've bought into that. So it makes these games in these months like easier to get up for, because we know that like we have to still maintain this and continue to see this through.
and
So
and you
it's
guys are bringing it every night, and you guys believe in each other, and it's not just one line, and it's not wait, everybody's in
yeah,
there together, it sounds like. Okay,
yeah, no,
let's talk
absolutely.
some random shit then, okay?
All right, man.
Hendo, my boy in Cardiff, had a great beard, and I remember we would discuss his beard, and he had beard oil given to him while we were in Cardiff, and he would put oil in his beard. Do you have beard oil?
Yes, I do. I do actually. I had been with a company for 5 years, and actually the guy ended up selling it. He was out of Vancouver, so he was like a Canucks fan, and I met him through. He just had messaged me on Instagram while I was playing in Utica for the farm team for the Canucks, and so I signed with him. He was like a startup, had his own like line products that he was like kind of just getting out, and I had been with him up until this year, and then he had just sent me a message saying that he had sold it off, like somebody had bought the company for too much money, he couldn't turn it down. And so
That's awesome.
now I am technically without a beard sponsor,
You're a
but I had
free
had
agent,
one.
folks. You're a free
I'm back
agent.
on the market. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if
um
anybody's listening to us in my shed, reach out. Let's get this beard sponsored because it's gorgeous.
yeah, so right now I'm just using up the last the product that I had from him. But yeah, it was oils, and I have a wax that I put in to help just like style it, and special shampoo, and I take care of it just like anybody would take care of their hair. I just don't have
Right.
any hair, so
Right. No, so
um,
you take care of the facial hair,
so
but
I take care of that. Yeah.
yeah, no, I didn't know about beards, right? I can't really grow a good one. Every playoff run I'd go on, I don't get connectors from the mustache to the beard, I got
Okay.
that gap
Yeah.
there, so I got a mustache and a beard, and then the mustache gets scared of the beard and starts curling up. It's a
Curling.
mess every time.
Yeah.
But man, those beards are wicked awesome, and Tansey's growing his out too. And man, you guys must look tough and mean on the back end.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day. We were like, does the beard add like a little bit of toughness to you?
It
You think,
it
like,
does. 100%
and
it does.
obviously he's very tough and has fought some very tough guys and over the course of his career. And I don't know. I don't consider myself, I guess, being that tough, but I think I'm more just like willing to stand up for teammates, kind of. But it scares guys away from talking to me a little bit. If
I would
because I
I was
I
scared of
try to.
guys with big beards when I was on the ice.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, and I mean, like
It's a thing.
I'm 5'9". I'm 5'9", so it's like, am I really that scary with it? I don't know, but
You look pretty
um,
jacked. I've never seen you in person, but you look like you got some broad shoulders
I
on you. So do you chuck knuckles every once in a while just when the time comes and you have to do it for a teammate?
yeah, for sure. My starting my career in South Carolina, I got to play with Trevor Gillies,
Oh yeah,
and
that's a big boy.
yeah, so and he was as tough as they came, and he just showed me things to try to help defend myself, and I just always told him like I just want to be able to like
Hang in
help
there.
out a teammate, yeah,
Yeah.
and hang in there if I needed to. And yeah, so I've always try to fight at least 2-3 times a year if it calls for it, if I get fired up enough to do it. And I try to play that balance between, I like being a skill guy and being offensive, but also
Playing
I
with an
love
edge.
yeah, playing with an edge and being physical. And like I have to stand up for myself because I'm only 5'9". So it's like guys take liberties all the time on me when they come in on the forecheck. So it's like I have to like
Yeah. I
play aggressive back. And so
I agree though, because I was a small skill guy, right? And I used to be able to put up some numbers and you would get some attention. And if you didn't stand up for yourself, man, once you're their bitch, you're their bitch.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's I think I'm not squaring up with most guys because obviously I give up a serious reach advantage. But if there's a
But
chance to,
when the passion goes and all of a sudden it happens because you're
yeah,
playing on the edge and you're playing hard, you get in fights. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, and I won't shy away from that. So
hmm Okay, poster picks. The one I just posted and I
yeah,
said best bearded hockey. You got your game face on. You are ready to play, eh?
yeah, that's that the
The national
national
anthem.
anthem.
Uh,
Yeah, the national anthem is like a zone.
yep.
I don't hear anything. I don't know. It's just like I go blank for that 3 minutes or whatever. And yeah, that's a good picture. I was in the zone.
That was a great picture. And I brought it up before on here was that was one of the things I really missed about hockey. Obviously you haven't gone through the transition out of the game. It different for everybody, but I think based on what I know about you so far and that you're a team guy and you're all about winning and your teammates, it can be hard for guys like that when you don't have that anymore. Um, Jeepers, I got sidetracked, but yeah, I was watching a game and the national anthem came on, and in the NHL they show all the guys in their zone and they all do a
Yeah,
little different things, and it just it hit me really hard,
yeah,
because I was like, I'm never gonna feel that again. I'm never gonna have the hair standing up on the back of my neck in the zone, ready to go out there and muck it up with my teammates. And I hated it. That was when I was still having a hard time with it. Now I watch hockey games. I'm like, oh boy, these boys are going out to play.
yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
know.
Anyways, have you thought about life after hockey?
Yeah, I have. I told myself I wanted to try to play 10 years, so I'm on year 8 right now. So I got two more for sure, and then we'll just kind of see. But I said 10 would be like a good goal. I feel like that's a good number. It'll be, by the end of it, it'll be close to probably over 500 games. Like it's a good, I think that's a
And then
good
once you get to
career.
that point, though, and to me it seems, I don't know, I could be crazy. What do I know? But you, Tansey, Champini seem like you're having a time. And man, it'd be hard to hang up the wheels when you're having a time.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. No, I definitely want to finish out the original goal that I set for myself. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like things that I want to do, and there's a lot. I think the biggest thing right now is like I have a lot of ideas, and
Yeah.
that's like great for right now. And then it's more just like,
Honing in on what it's going to be.
yeah, just kind of honing in, and I go back and forth of whether I want to stay involved in the game or not. My wife tells me all the time she thinks I'd be a good coach, and I've thought
I
about it, but I
I
think
think
I
you
would
would be
want to.
too.
I think I want to work with like a specific age group, and obviously it's the age group that's the hardest to get jobs, which is college, um, because it's like you can the teaching and the knowledge that you're trying to instill and give back to the game. Like those jobs are just hard to come across. But and for once in my life, I'd like some job security where it's like you can sign a deal in college as a head coach or an assistant coach, and you at least know you're going to be there for like 3 4 years by the time you like get your recruiting classes in and like
Yeah.
you see your first recruiting class through. Then if you get canned, you get canned, but at least it'd be 4 years of stability.
No,
So
that is, you're right though. And I always saw NCAA coaches and thought, man, they got a gravy train here because they get paid well, they're doing what they love, and like they make kids' lives. Like I can't imagine what it's like to call a kid and tell him he's getting a scholarship, right?
yeah, yeah,
It would be
for sure.
living to
And
do that.
yeah, no, and and I think I was an average student, but I think I just want to like give back to that even more and just like try to instill like how important the education is. And I battled with my education and my grades at times and just didn't take it as seriously at times. And for sure there were distractions everywhere, but I think if there was one thing maybe that I wish I could have like focused on a little better was just like that, you know
Well, I guess that kind of comes with like, and I had the same struggles. I won't lie to you.
yeah,
I did what I needed to do to get by. I could have done way better if I wanted to or tried harder.
yeah,
Um, but it's like you were saying, your business-like approach with your team this year. It's like everything you do, you may as well do it the best you can, you know?
for sure, yep,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
agree.
so I thought about doing that, possibly staying involved in hockey some way. But then I'm like, man, I've given, by the time I'm all done, it'll be almost 30 years of my life that I've given to something. Like maybe it's time to do something different. And so contemplated maybe opening a barber shop, maybe getting
Tansey
like a
said you
yoga.
wanted to be Santa in the mall.
Yeah, my wife. Yeah, that's my wife. She wants me to be a mall Santa. There's a good documentary on HBO. I think it was like talks about mall Santas. There's like a Santa camp, and so it's funny. You should check it out. But yeah, so that would be my winter gig, just being a mall Santa. Um,
But if you want to listen to me at all, I think shed guys should be in hockey. My
okay,
hardest times in life were when I was out of it, and now all I need to do is talk to guys in my shed and coach minor hockey, and I get all the hockey I need.
sweet. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'll
Okay.
definitely consider it.
Next poster pick. Um, you're doing a celly. Are you doing the bow and arrow? Are you pulling the arrow back there?
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
You shot the arrow.
Yep,
Must have been a nice goal.
it was jumped up in the rush and got a nice little flat saucer pass that I buried low blocker
Love it.
because I actually listen to my wife and she tells me to shoot low all the time and finally shot low and I was just
Yeah, you got a celly when you score a big
yeah.
one.
Plus I hadn't scored in it had been a little bit. I'm on a little bit of a cold streak this year. I'm definitely dishing out a lot, but it's like finishing. I've had some posts and some near misses, and I definitely feel like I should have probably 3 or 4 more goals than I do. And it's so that one I had gone like 10 games without scoring, and I was just like, oh man, that felt
Nice.
good.
It's a good relief when you get those ones when it's been a
Yeah,
while.
especially at home too. Like
But like
that's
you
just
say
the
with the
best.
pressure, it's like when you're thinking maybe you should have scored a few more. It's pretty nice when your
Yeah,
team still wins all the games.
no, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly. That's all comes into like the thought process of like normally I think about that in years past, like, oh man, I would be in a different state of mind, like going to the rink every day. But it's like here
Yeah,
I've just felt like, yeah,
yeah.
I feel like I probably should be doing maybe a little better than I am for my personal reasons, but like
Right.
I'm
Because everybody
okay
wants
with
to
it
be
because
as
it's
great as they can be,
oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, and we still all have that like that's the best thing about our team is we still all like want that, but it's like the mindset going into the rink is just different. Like we're not
Yeah.
upset about that. We're not like envious of other guys that are scoring and maybe we're not because we know it's like it's
So
coming
and
around,
that's what I think in hockey, the teams that win it, the teams that are the people that don't have the envious, like you said, but like jealousy, right? When
Yeah.
I've been on teams where guys can really be having a time, and if there's guys that are struggling, like you can tell they're really not happy for you.
Yeah.
You can tell like they're not celebrating your goals as much as like their own, right? And it's like you don't
Yeah.
win like that. You want all your boys to feel good, you know?
I know. No, and that's sad. That's the beauty thing. Like everybody who everybody who lights the lamp, like we are so jacked up and like
Yep,
excited for it,
yep,
so
yep. And that's when teams win is when the guys on the ice that didn't score are getting over to that fellow that did, as you know, and they're as happy as he is.
yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Your next poster pick is your dog in a reindeer outfit. Is that the one you slapped on Champini too?
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually Tans actually bought that for her. He was at a Christmas market up in Manchester and he saw that and he was like, I have to get this for Hazel. And so yeah, that's her. She was the reindeer around Christmas. So she's sitting back
Uh,
here behind me right now,
I
taking
used
a
to
snooze.
dress my dog up too to be funny. You know, fun is fun.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Next poster pick. Wait till yeah, and then when you start having kids, man, and then you start dressing them up funny, like it's real. Anyways, next poster pick is you're all dolled up. And Tansey's not. He's showing a lot of chest hair in that photo. Is that at your wedding this summer?
Yeah, yeah, that was right before the wedding. We were all the guys were hanging out, and I was getting ready, and that was my dad's room, and so we were all just in there having beers and getting ready, and
Yep,
yeah,
I know. Yeah,
that's where it happened. That's where the signing happened. Pretty much that night, I verbally committed that night, but I don't remember.
That's awesome. Yeah, Champ told me that he was doing some recruiting at your wedding, and I always say like when you're playing with your best buddies, it's so much more fun to play hockey. You can play better. It's pretty neat that you guys like. The other thing is like when you get married as a hockey guy, you have your hometown people, your family, and that. But the actual hockey guys that live wherever in the world that actually make the time and spend the money to be there, it can mean a lot, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And it was a smaller, like, the destination wedding, I think, was what we wanted to do because I think for a couple of reasons. One, it takes off like a huge amount of stress from the bride and groom. If anybody's thinking about doing it, it takes a lot of stress off your plate. Like planning a wedding is
And
stressful,
they basically
but
plan it for you, right? You just show up
yeah,
and do her.
that's what I mean. Like we had two like Zoom calls with the wedding planner from the resort, and like we had decided everything in 2 hour long calls. Done. And we showed
Boom.
up and it was ready to go. Boom. And it was cheaper too than like, you go and want to get a sweet venue, and everybody's different too. And I'm not knocking how everybody wants to do it, but I just mean it's a cool option just because like you go and pay 5 grand for your venue for the night. It's an expensive day for one party, and I know
Oh,
it's a
it's
it's a
crazy
lasting
expensive.
thing, but it's like we just wanted our family and friends to enjoy like a vacation while also going to our wedding.
Yeah,
It's the end of the season. The boys are all wanting a vacation after the season anyway.
that's a good time.
Like, yeah, I think it was a perfect time to do it. It was earlier in the summer, so it wasn't as hot in Mexico. And yeah, I think everybody, it was just like an informal thing too. Like sometimes when you're meeting new people in a super formal setting, like a wedding, it's like you don't really get to know the person. Like you have these like surface level conversations and like, oh, how do you know each other? And
But
then
when you're there
okay,
for
we
the week and everybody's running amok,
yeah, like you're there and like
yeah,
we're all hanging by the pool and we're all wasted together. Like
yeah, and
we're gonna really
getting
get
to
to know
know
each
why
other.
they're there and who they know and getting to
Yeah,
know people,
exactly.
it's fun.
Yeah, it is, man. It was a blast.
Well, just so you know, I'd never met you before, but I'm having a great time today. Thanks for making my Monday better.
Oh, you're welcome, brother.
Next poster pick, same wedding. You're like doing the dip there, holding her. That's a great wedding photo.
Yeah, it was. It was another intricate Tansey story, but Tansey's dad, was the wedding photographer as well. So
Really?
yeah, he just took us around the resort there, and we were just finding cool spots. And one of my wife's friends, she works in works in fashion, and was kind of helping her do some of the positions with her dress, and they just both suggested that pose, and yeah, it turned out to be a really cool pick, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
this one's gonna have to go up on the wall in the house someday.
yeah, definitely. Yep.
Um, I didn't want to forget about this. When we were talking about Northeastern, you said you didn't win a bean pod, but you are a Hockey East champion?
I am. Yep, I am. We won it that my senior year. But yeah, never won a bean pot. Three bean pot finals.
Mm,
Lost to
mm,
Johnny Goudreau twice, and then Jack Eichel once.
mm.
So it
Yeah,
was, yeah,
that
it's tough.
stinks.
But
Yeah.
yeah, senior year was cool. It was just a weird start to the year. Like we just could not seem to like win a game, and I think we were like one. And like even I mean, talk about like regular season pressure too. Like that when you're in college, like those weekends mean so much
The
for your
world.
standings, and like yeah, like in then the polls like nationally being ranked like.
Yeah, we didn't have
So
to
we
worry about
started.
that when I was at Western.
So we started this season like 1-11 or something like that, or 1-10 at Christmas, and then we just went on an absolute heater on the second half of the season, and like we didn't lose a game until
May I
like
ask
North
how
Dakota.
the what like I don't know who your coach was. May I ask how he was dealing with the losing at the start of the year? Did he by chance take puke buckets out on the ice and skate you until people threw up?
No, he did not do that.
Oh
But yeah,
no,
he was
that's what
not.
we did at Western
No.
Michigan. We actually didn't turn it around.
Oh no. Yeah, it was Jim Madigan was the coach there, and he was struggling. Like I think I was his first recruiting class too, so like he had seen that transition for 4 years, and I think like
That's
he was
pretty cool
probably
for the guy
feeling
to get
some.
her done with his first recruit with his
Yeah, for
first
sure.
puppies.
Yeah, like we had made that the 4 year trek and like finally got to like see some results. And then since I left, they've made the tournament pretty much, I want to say almost every year since, and then they've won 3 or 4 bean pots since then. So like I'd like to think that it was my class that helped that season, maybe, that we finally like got some hardware for the school.
Yeah.
And again, it had been a while, so like we had finally
It's
won.
huge for a school to win. It's
Yeah, I
huge
think
for
it
any
just kind
team
of
to
like
win.
just kind of helped get Northeastern over that hump of like, we're kind of like a second class school in Hockey East, and like but now they're a threat. They're a threat in Hockey East every year. So it's like it was really cool to
Be
cap
a
off,
part of that. Yeah.
yeah, senior year with that for sure.
Because I would agree. When I went there for the recruiting trip, they weren't a sought after school that like I was like, I'm going to go there and win something.
Yeah.
When I got recruited to Western, they were actually ranked top 10 in the country, and she went straight downhill from there. Uh, but yeah, like you said, you never know what your impact is or whatever, right? When I was at Western Michigan, when we went to the rink, nobody wanted to be there. It was fear. We were scared of what they were going to put us through. Um, the skating was outrageous. When we started losing, the team atmosphere just dissolved right in front of me, and I'm one of the leaders on the team, and it was tough. But I made sure my team, we were a family and we were brothers for life away from the rink. But then, I couldn't control what it was like when we went to the rink. And
Yeah.
we are still brothers for life. Now I can text or call any of those guys and they will be in the shed in no time. And, maybe we didn't win anything while I was there, but I tried to instill that we are brothers for life. And, we didn't win much, though. It was tough
Yeah.
times.
No, for sure, man. Those are good connections to always carry through. And like we talked about earlier, I feel like we value those connections so much. And you know, you obviously have done a great job continuing yours with what you're doing. So
Well, it's amazing how big my hockey family is now.
yeah, right.
Because well, not like once I get to know you and like I take a shine to you, now I'm going to be following you guys to see if you're doing good, see if you got a shed boost.
Yeah,
Do you know
absolutely.
after Champ came on, that the first period after his shed trip, he had like a goal and 2 assists or something? Everybody was writing to me saying, Shed boost is real.
Yeah, he had 5 points last game. So since the interview, he's like 10 points in his last 4 games or something like that. So
Jeepers. He's going to
no
want to come
wonder
to the
why
shed
I
all the
wanted to
time.
schedule. I wanted to schedule this as quick as possible.
But like honestly, and then for me, it's like how much happier I am in life now that I'm back to being my old self. I'm back to being a hockey guy again. Um, when I was playing, when you're doing well, there's not many people that tell you. Like
Hmm.
people don't tell you how nice your goal was or how nice your pass was. Like people might talk about it elsewhere, but they don't tell you to your face. And I think hockey players should hear how well they're doing. I think they should hear when they make a great play that they should do that again. And that's now that I'm coaching under 13 team, that's what I try to do. It's when
Yeah,
they do something, I want to tell them how good they were, you know?
yeah. No, and that's another area of Aaron Fox, like how well he's done to like still encourage us and highlight the things that we're doing so well. Like he's always very picky about what he shows us in video, and it's when we're prepping for teams, but it's like he shows us the things
Good.
that like we're doing well, and
Yeah.
like that the nice highlight reel stuff. Like we have a little section at the end that's like he shows the goals, like he shows that stuff because like he wants us to continue to believe in it because it's working. So I think it's just as important as showing the
And
bad
that's
stuff.
what's so important about having a coach that can relate to you, that's been
Yeah.
through the ringer of a career. And like you'd remember the coaches that like every video session was like you didn't even want to go because you
No.
knew
Yeah.
you don't know what they're going to show, and all of a sudden you're getting ripped apart in front of all your teammates and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, like I didn't know this
I
was
know.
coming.
Yeah, you just never wanted to be the first clip. You just
But
wanted to
you
like
can show
sneak in the
positive
middle.
things in video, folks. If I'm not, I'm
Yes,
not,
you
I'm
can.
not doing any video in under 13. Not a chance. So if anybody tried to tell me to, I'm not doing video in under 13. Those boys are just going to go
Oh,
play, and I'll
just
tell them
go
when they
play.
did good things.
Go play.
Yeah. You know what's fun though? My under 13 team's having like the same season as you guys.
Unreal. That's awesome.
Yeah. 30-3 right now, I think it is, with a
30
few
and
ties.
3.
Yeah.
Must be
It's
the
like
coach.
it's
It's got to be
the
the coaching.
no, it's the puppies that do it. I don't play. I just let the boys roll, and we got the same team as you. I got 3 lines, and all 3 lines can score. I get 5D that you just roll them, but then I do have a couple horses that it's like, well, like they're game changers, you know?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
And they are coming to the shed. I got my horses booked.
Nice.
Yeah. What else do I got here? Let's see. Um, you did as a college free agent, so you said you didn't go to school till you're like 20 or
Hmm.
whatever. You're an older college guy. So,
Yep.
when you do get to pro, you're older than most. Same, like I was a little older too, but um, you did end up getting called up to the AHL. You played quite a bit in the AHL. Do you remember the first time you got called up to the AHL?
Yeah. Yeah. It was, got the call at like 11:30 at night. We were, had to fly out the next morning early to Hershey. I was in South Carolina. And so got called up to Hershey. And that rink, if nobody's got a chance to ever play in that rink, or they don't understand, those fans are very on par with Sheffield.
All right.
Like, very packed. Oh
They got
man,
a
it's a
hell of a
hockey.
franchise there, right? They're good every year.
Yeah, it's very, very historic American League franchise, and yeah, that was a really cool experience. That their rink holds 10, maybe just over. It was a fantastic environment, and yeah, and just you were chasing it, and so it was like you felt like,
You really
yeah, I
do
was
when you get
so
called up to
happy.
the
Yeah,
yeah,
I was so
I know.
happy, and like I didn't play. Obviously, I was call up in the 60 in the lineup, so I didn't play very much. But and then they kept me around for a couple weeks. But yeah, it was just a great experience, and
Yeah. Well, it's neat, and I like when the older fellas that get hockey and get a team and get about winning, and maybe weren't the highest touted prospect, when they earn their way up there based on how they're being a teammate and a player. Um, I like that shit, you know?
yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's what's so unique about our game too is everybody's path is just so different, and
That's how I can
how
do
they
this,
do it.
right?
And yeah, no, absolutely, man. And I think that's what I love the most about our sport is just how many different ways that guys can achieve their goals, or how many different journeys they take. So
I agree. And yeah, you've had an interesting path too. So after your it's like 5 years in the coast in the A, and you're up and down, and it is a grind. But you're living in some sweet spots. Um and you're in Boise. So what's the decision? How you end up going to Innsbruck?
yeah, it was just like they'd reached out, and then there was kind of talk like
So
been
they reach
hearing from
out to
my.
you. You're not saying I want to go to Europe, find me something?
I was kind of like still I didn't know if I should give it one more year. Like you're always kind of like, at least I was always told, like, you don't want to go to Europe necessarily too early. Like you don't want to necessarily give up on it. That's just what my agent was saying, and like my dad was even like, "Hey, Europe will be there. Like try to give it as much of a chance in the U.S. as you can, and like try to get as high up as you can." And so when COVID hit, I was just like, maybe like should I give it one more season in the coast in the American League, and then I found out that they weren't going to even start on time. So I was like, I don't want to go, you know, 6 months without playing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go. And then there was even like talk that with my agent, like, oh, I might come back like once the American League and the coast starts again. But we just had too good of a group like of guys that I enjoyed, and we were having fun in Innsbruck, and we weren't winning very many games, but we were having fun, and the city was gorgeous, and I was loving the 2 games a week, like being home in my own bed every night, like not playing 3-and-3s,
It's
or
the thing. Yeah.
yeah, you know, picking up the travel miles. Like it was nice, and so I just made the decision then that like I wasn't probably going to come back to the coast. I ended up having to do that for a year this last year, but it was, you know, I just thought it was time to check out Europe.
So yeah, like you brought back some memories for me because I did have a good college career. Um, and then when I got to the AHL, didn't really go my way, end up in the coast, and we do go to the finals. And it came to the decision of if I'm going to do the coast or not. And I had the offer in Germany. I turned them down the first time. Then they called back 2 weeks later, and they're like, you are the person we want. We want you on our team. Have you rethought of this?" And then I'd had a few calls with buddies that had one guy said to me, "It's like, do you think you're going to make the NHL?" And I was like, based off my rookie year, no, I don't. And he's like, "So what are you doing?" And I was like, yeah. And then I did end up going. But like you said about not giving it the fair shake, I did have a hard time, especially when I went to Germany. And then like my second year, I was really doing her. I had the best year of my career before I hurt my knee. We win the championship, and I'm watching my college line mate play his first NHL game, and I had a hard time of thinking, did I leave too soon? Should I have given this a bigger shot? And
Yeah.
then it's like, well, I'm down this road now. What am I going to do now? Right.
Yeah, for sure. No, and like I said, man, there's no right or wrong way. It's just like I think you just always take that gamble. Like if you leave maybe off of after a good season and like you might miss that window because the window is so small and
It is.
your chances and your opportunities to make an impact are so small like that if you leave too soon then I mean really like in the American League like you're an injury or two away
Yep.
so it's like it's hard to like give that up
Yep.
or think about giving that up right away. So, but yeah, man, I mean, I think because I've seen also that happen too. Like guys go and then they come back and they sign American League deals and they can get in the NHL that way. So it's
And
like,
and like for me, my thought was I want to make a career in Europe. I want to go there,
yeah,
do well, and work my way up to making good money that it is a hockey
yeah,
career, right? And then
yeah, exactly.
I was on my way there, then I blow out my knee, and then I never did get out of the second league in Germany. And then all of a sudden, I wasn't even going to ask back to go there, and I was like, "Oh shoot, what happened?"
Yeah,
But Innsbruck is a city. Drove past
yeah,
there, and Austria is a beautiful place, eh?
yeah, definitely. I would love to like, you know, if if it was to work out or I could play a couple more years, like I'd be cool to like even if I didn't make the top Austrian league, like I'd love to go and even play in that second league maybe in Austria again,
And
like
have
in
a time.
Kitzbühel. Yeah, and just like it'd be just a cool like experience too.
And
Um,
relax and just play the game.
yeah, no, for sure. It's I love Sheffield, and honestly, I would definitely come back in a heartbeat if they wanted me to come back. And but yeah, there's some other spots in Austria and even Italy that I've considered like
I've
those would be sweet spots just to go live and
to
check
live
out.
and
And
do it for a year. I was
yeah,
having the same thoughts there. So I had my year in Cardiff. I was doing well, and when it came down to decision time, was I got offered from Morzine, France, and I was like, so we could live in a ski resort in France for the year, or I could come back to Cardiff. And I did choose to stay in Cardiff because of the people and my teammates. But there are a lot of adventures you can go on when you're playing in Europe.
yeah, absolutely, man. And I think too, at like I know, I know at the end of my career, I want to go check out the league in Australia too.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So like I think that's where I'm like how I'm gonna end it, whether it be right at 10 years or maybe 11 years. Like I'm gonna play
Why don't you just
for
go do it?
12 months straight. Well, because I'm just gonna play for 12 months straight.
I
So
know
I'm gonna
there's a
like
bunch of
do the
guys that do that, and then they go right
yeah
back into the next season. You do need an off
yeah.
season, don't you?
No, but that's what I mean. Like I'll just end it after that. Like last
Yeah,
season, like
that'd be
play in
cool.
Europe somewhere and then just go straight to Australia and play and then be done.
And every guy I've
Like
talked to that has gone to that league has ate kangaroo. So you sick bugger, you're probably gonna eat kangaroo someday.
uh
I that was a thing that was on my radar too at the end of my career. Then we had kids, and life went different direction.
that's
But
true.
I
That's
always
true.
did want to have gone to Australia and play in that league because um we like playing hockey, we like the sport, and we
Yeah.
like seeing new stuff, right? And that it would be an adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as my wife still wants to go, then we'll go check it out.
So if you've lived in Slovakia, Austria, now in England, if you could eat anywhere in the world, where would you go and what would you eat?
Oh man. Well, honestly, yeah, I'm a big I love Italian food.
Me too.
Yeah, probably go to Italy and just eat pasta
Hmm.
for days and drink red wine.
Yes, I understand. I'd be there
Yeah,
right with you.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Um,
And
so,
Champini did not tell me to say that.
um, what else do I got? So, do you find it interesting? Like, I don't know, you probably enjoy playing the UK league, but isn't it interesting how the Slovakians play hockey different than the British and then also Austrians? And like, I find each league was very different, especially like Denmark to Germany was different. And then you get to the UK and you're back to mucking it up and playing old school. I don't know if it's still the same now, but
Yeah, no, definitely. It was the top Austrian guys were good. They, had good fundamentals and they could skate and it was an interesting like
but did they
dynamic
have
too,
that
just
real like really dig down deep and like I'm gonna take it to that red line and get it deep, and I don't even care if I get hammered, you know?
there were a couple guys, like Raffle and a couple of the like higher end guys that like had true like grit to their game and like would seriously block shots and like, team first guys kind of, but they were good skaters and the same in the Slovak league, like they were just smooth and the Slovak league was way more like puck possession. It had kind of hints of like the Russian style in there too as well, like the puck possession and playing on the big ice over there is just like you don't chip and chase. Plus, I was playing for a Finnish coach while I was in Slovakia, so like that was we played a trap and we controlled breakout and we did not throw the puck away at all. So it was just like a very different style of hockey. And then you come here and like our rink in Sheffield's one size, and then you go play a game in Manchester in that rink, and it's like it's two different styles of hockey. So it's like
It's
cool at this
two
stage in
totally
like,
different games. Yeah,
oh yeah, it's completely different, man. Like it's cool at this stage to be challenged on a
both
nightly
ways.
basis, like on how you're gonna play.
Yep.
Like, okay, this game I have to play completely different. I mean, I probably have when we go to Manchester, I probably have 10 shots in a game because I just shoot the puck from everywhere. But it's like at home,
Once you're
I'm
inside
not
the
I'm
blue
maybe
line,
not
it's a good
shoot. Yeah,
shot
I'm not
there, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like you get across the red line and it's like putting it on net is a dangerous shot.
Yeah. And then you
And
get to
it's
Sheffield and you could be in the offensive zone and still a mile away from the net.
exactly. And so you're just like playing a different game and that's I think our team is unique in that sense too, is that we can play all different types of games because we're so like we're built like physically, but then we're such a skating team. Like puck possession is like create our puck possession time every single game is like we control the puck for 60% or more of the game. Like so
I,
it's like however we want to play, we can play that way. And so it's just it's a blast. I like the UK style, honestly.
yeah, no, I enjoyed at the end of my career getting to go to the UK and like feel like I was back in my hometown mucking it up with my Mennonite fellas. Like
Yeah.
I like when you go out there and give her all you got. And what is interesting for me, especially now I've gotten to know you shed guys in Sheffield, is um the other teams in that league try really, really hard to win. Cardiff is not okay with finishing second at all. Like they're not okay with it, and they will do whatever it takes to win. And same with Belfast. And I find it very interesting how how you guys have just been rolling with like even with the competition you're playing against, you're just rolling.
Yeah, it's like I think I mean, there's good teams. Like every team we play is like there's good players. Like they play us hard, and I think too like we're in a unique situation too because we get everybody's best.
Yeah.
Like
Well, when you're in
anytime we
first
go play
place, you do,
somebody,
right? Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And so that's another challenge like in itself. Like we get their best every single night, and so I think that's we have success by just sticking to what we do, and
Mhm.
we don't up a goal, down a goal. Like we just play. and we just like focus on our details and our habits that we all have agreed to buy in to do.
Yep.
And that's what makes us successful. And I think too, it's like it is the depth is definitely a separator because we have four lines of
Hockey players.
just hot, yeah, just like deep, like well-rounded hockey players. Like we have a lot of 200-foot hockey players. Like it's rare sometimes in Europe to have a team full of
Absolutely.
200-foot hockey players, but we have our guys that have 30 some points are also playing defense and coming back on the back check. So that's different,
Yep.
in certain teams that we play against, maybe their top guys aren't doing that.
Well,
And that's
and
what it takes to win.
it happens in Europe when like the top point guys, they're worried about their points and they play that way. And
Yeah, for sure.
especially in Germany, man, some of the hockey I saw in Germany is like how like there'd be guys I'm in the scoring race with in the league, and it's like you go play them and you're like, are you serious? Like you actually play hockey like that? Like they wouldn't care at all if they got scored on. It,
Yeah.
it was it was wild, but
Yeah, for sure.
anywho.
And it's yeah, so it's we enjoy playing them. Like obviously they're some of the better teams in the league, and we enjoy playing them, and it's a good game every time. But I think what separated us in the games that we've played them is just the depth and our attention to detail.
Yeah. And once you get the belief, right? The belief's
Yeah,
a thing.
it is. Yeah,
When you start grooving and then everybody's feeling it and you're grooving, it's hard to stop.
for sure. Yeah.
hmm Well, this Challenge Cup game, I don't know when it happens. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble, but I do know you guys have a bunch of shed guys on your team. Tansey likes Toblerones. Champini likes Cadbury Dairy Milk, and you like Ferrero Rochers or dark chocolate, right?
Yep. Yep.
And folks, it's a big barn. Work your way down to the glass. They're going to have the trophy on the ice for a while. You don't have to rush this chocolate thing and throw it from the top. Get right down to the glass. Nice lob. Nobody's going to get upset. And the arena staff can go fly a kite because I'm in Canada. Get out of my way.
That's right.
Yeah, no, like it's for me, it's interesting being so neutral in hockey now in your league because back in the day, I would never talk to a Sheffield Steeler. I would rather slash you in the back of the ankles and
That's
spear
true.
you in the nuts.
Yep.
But I am a neutral observer of the league, and I'm very impressed with your team. I'm very impressed with the roster and the results and what your coaching staff's doing, what the players are doing. But also, I'm impressed with your fan base. You see the pictures of that arena. You see Steeler Dan playing paper, rock, scissor with Barry the Baguette, who wears a 2 L's and Hockey Tails hat in the barn. Um, I got no problem with Sheffield anymore, and
Yep.
you guys are really hockeying this year.
Yeah, man. No, it's a good experience. All the games are just the crowds are amazing, and it's truly a blessing to play in front of that many people on a weekly basis.
It can make you
And they've
feel
just been,
important, right? And like you're really
yeah,
doing
no,
something when there's that many
they really
people there.
do. Yeah, and Champ did a good job of trying to prep us for that, of like how passionate they are about us, and it's just the love and support that we've had from the community is it truly is the best place to play probably in this league, in my opinion. Um, but anyway,
In Manchester, they get paid with chocolate when they win, and in Cardiff is my funnest place I've ever lived. So
okay.
yeah, you can do lots of things in Cardiff, and it's really fun. Even if you're like a young dad, there's still play places. Then there's
Yep.
bars, there's restaurants, there is everything you need in Cardiff, Wales, folks. But you guys should keep up the great work. And you know, I don't know what else to say. I'm just watching the league nowadays, seeing chocolate happen, and I hope you guys win the Challenge Cup and that you guys get the chocolate you deserve because those fans are passionate about you, but you guys are also passionate about them. The three guys I've had on, I do select who I'm having on in the shed, and it's the people I see that are hockeying. And I've seen multiple pictures of you before I ever met you, of you with fans taking pictures, signing stuff, and it doesn't take long to figure out who knows how to hockey, you know?
Yeah. No, I just take that as that's part of the job and part of the responsibility, and I embrace that side of it. I think I'm an outgoing person. I like talking to people, and so it makes it easier for sure. But
Yeah.
I think that's part of all hockey players' responsibility to give back to their communities, and we make those people's nights for those pictures and signing those things, like, as taxing as that might be to do it
Take a
over and over
picture with
again.
a kid. You imagine how taxing that
It
could be, guys?
I know, but it means the world to them, so I don't mind doing it.
And you probably don't realize what you're doing while you're doing it. That it's like that kid gets that picture. He's probably getting it printed and putting it up in his bedroom, and it could be there for years, right?
Yep, for sure.
And you don't
Yep.
realize this shit till you get out in your shed sometimes. But this guy already gets it, folks.
Yeah,
And this
that's
has
right.
been
You get it.
another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Sauce and Wally.